Hello and welcome to my channel Inspiring Life Changes. My name's Colette and I'm here today to do a reading for all you Aquarians out there. Now earlier on when I was shuffling these cards, normally when I'm shuffling I do the kind of Sun, Moon, Venus and rising sign, asking for a reading for whatever sign it is that I'm doing. So today I realised after a while of shuffling that the first word that I was saying was Venus, which may not sound that important until what came out for your first card, Aquarius, was this card here, which is all about Venus. It is all about that love energy. And so I was quite intrigued by that. And the rest of the reading I will explain later, but I just thought I'd let you into that little bit of information there. So like I said, this is a reading today for Aquarius, Sun, Moon, Venus and Rising. It's a general reading, so it's not going to resonate with everybody. I would just like to say that if you're interested in finding out where the rest of your signs or placements, planets are, there's a free link that will be put in the description box down below for anybody who wants to check that out. And if this reading doesn't resonate with you and you don't feel that there's a message there for you, maybe you would like to check out my other readings as well, some that I have put up previously, as well as the readings that I will be putting out for each sign to come. So with that being said, I would also like to show you again this card. Ace of Cups at the heart of your reading, Aquarius, is saying to me that there is this feeling of self-love, of finding love for yourself. And another thing that's come through very strongly with this reading as I was placing the cards is that this is for Aquarians themselves. This isn't sorry, this isn't about a relationship. This isn't for cross-watchers looking for Aquarius that they're interested in, although I mean you can watch it and you may find some more information about the Aquarian that you're interested in, but this is about the individual. This is about the individual Aquarians out there, that very much about themselves. And this cup that they've got here, that they are holding, they are looking to fill it up, but they're looking to fill it up in the sense of finding love for themselves, within themselves. It's almost like a realization that this is what they need to do at this moment in time. And it's a very beautiful card. This cup is very kind of intricate as well, so it's kind of saying look at the details, look at your life, look at where you've come to today from where you've been, the details. That's what I'm picking up here. It's kind of, it's important to look into the details of your life. But the card that came out over the top of this, Aquarius, is the Four of Pentacles. And the Four of Pentacles is saying to me that there's a restriction happening here. As much as you're wanting this, you're also holding back. You're restricting yourself from allowing yourself to feel it. There's a real kind of holding on to it for fear, maybe that's all you're going to get, that's it, that you won't get it, you won't get any more than this. And because of that, you are stopping yourself from allowing yourself to feel this, because this is the card that's clarifying the Ace of Cups in this read. And what's below you and what you are kind of dealing with on a deeper subconscious level that you may not be quite so sure of or aware of is a reverse justice card. And this says to me that there has been a situation in your life, Aquarius, where you feel as though you have been done wrong, as though things didn't turn out the way that you were expecting them, things didn't turn out the way that you wanted them, that you have been done, or something has been done to you. And this can be because it's Libra, it's to do with harmony, it's to do with balance, it's to do with finding that kind of inner balance as well as on an outer outer balance, if you like, in your life. The balance that you need in your life, you also need inwardly as well. And this is Athene, the kind of, she's the goddess of justice with her sword of truth here. And she has this owl on her shoulder who kind of speaks of wisdom. And she has to be fair. She has to balance things up. She has to be able to remove her emotions from a situation. But it's reversed. So I get the feeling that something wasn't balanced in this situation. In what's ever happened to you, Aquarius. There is this feeling of unfairness, and I feel quite strongly with this King of Cups coming out over the top as well. I don't think this is about a person. I think this is more to do with you not being able to take your emotions out of this situation and coming from a very emotional place, which is why it all kind of went upside down, why it all kind of went in a direction that you was hoping it wouldn't and was expecting it not to. But the King of Cups very much is about sitting in his emotions. He's completely kind of emotionally driven. He is in the zodiac signs, and within the tarot he would be known as the water signs of Pisces, Cancer and Scorpio. So he is very immersed in his emotions, and I get the feeling that it has been, because it's been so emotionally driven, that you weren't able to see things on a logical level with that sword of truth. It kind of everything kind of got turned upside down, almost like your world got turned upside down. And the King of Cups literally came out as a card between, hold them the right way, as a card between these two energies as well. So it's not just over the top of this, it's a kind of connecting energy card from this to this. So it says to me that there has been a lot of emotion in this situation. But what's in your head and what you're aware of is that it's brought some clarity. It's brought some insight, some illumination to the situation. And that it's kind of given you the ability now to move beyond that. It's saying it's okay for you to leave that in the past and walk into your new future, which will be brighter and happier and more productive. You can see here, this is Apollo, the sun god, who kind of is very skilled as well. So it's kind of saying, take what you've learned, take your skills and go beyond where you've been so far. Don't worry about other people. There is support here though. I do feel that there is support. But what came out interestingly with this card is the World. And the World is the ending of a cycle. Beginning and an ending, or ending and beginning. Again, you've got this sword here. which kind of represents truth and balance. It's about closing things off, using this sword here to close things off, to cut through things that are no longer relevant to the future that you're going to move into. And there she is, literally. And I would say as well, because this is a very feminine energy and this is a masculine energy in this card, that this is about balancing up those energies within yourself, the masculine and the feminine energies. And when I do my readings, I don't do them as gender orientated readings, I do them as energy readings. So this, to me, the masculine is all about action, doing, active. It's a very masculine energy in the sense of being driven, whereas this energy, the feminine energy, is much more about kind of being the passive, receptive, nurturing energy. And it doesn't have to be man or woman. You get both energies within both genders, which is something that we all need to kind of recognize as well, because we have for the longest time been brought up with this very kind of separate idea of who we are, that as a woman or as a female, when you're born into a female body, you are just a female, and when you're born into a male body, you are just a male. It doesn't work that way. We all have both aspects within us. So this to me is also saying that this kind of ending here, this finishing of a cycle, is giving you a new future to look forward to. Literally like stepping through that gateway and starting a new cycle. And one of the reasons I say that as well is because we do have the Wheel of Fortune card come out, but I will talk a bit more about that in a bit. First of all, I want to talk about this card here, which is the card that has been around for a while but is moving away. And it's the Three of Wands. And to me, the Three of Wands is about, well, in this particular reading, I feel that this is about recognition, about you recognizing something in yourself. This isn't so much about somebody else recognizing it, although I think the situation that you've been through that may have kind of brought this into your awareness, this situation here, I feel has led to this here. This kind of recognition of who you are and your abilities, and kind of discovering something within yourself that you didn't even know you had. Kind of realizing, this is the feeling I'm getting from this, is there's a realization that there is more to you than even you were aware of. And you kind of have you've tapped into something. This is what these wands here to me are saying, that there's this kind of creative fire within you that has kind of been ignited because of this kind of realization. And also that it's coming from a higher perspective as well, because of the purple. The purple to me always speaks of kind of the higher mind, the higher realms. The crown chakra energy, and he literally has a crown in his hand as well, which he is offering to this character here. And in the story, this character doesn't know who he really is. So the card that came out over the top of this card is the Four of Swords. But the Four of Swords here is reversed. Usually the Four of Swords will talk about taking time out, kind of reflecting on something before you act on something, doing something with with your mind rather than with your actual actions. It's time of like thinking something through before you take action. But because it's upside down and it's reversed, I kind of get the feeling that that didn't happen. And also because of this Justice card here as well, and this card here of the King of Cups, I kind of get the feeling that something was driven by the emotions and almost like you threw yourself on these swords here. Because to me, these three swords also represent the Three of Swords in the tarot deck, which is also about kind of heartbreak or wounding of some sort, being wounded, usually by another person. But I get the feeling that with this, it's kind of almost, I don't want to say self-inflicted, but that is kind of the energy that I'm picking up on. Almost like you literally kind of threw yourself onto these swords before you really gave yourself time to think, because you were coming from a very emotional place, very emotionally kind of driven. And there is this sword down here, but he hasn't quite managed to grab it. So he hasn't quite been able to defend himself either, I get the feeling with this. But the energy over the top of these two cards, because these came out together, is the Eight of Wands. And the Eight of Wands is normally about kind of fast moving energy, things speeding up, things suddenly kind of taking a turn for the better. Life suddenly kind of improving and you kind of suddenly picking yourself up and moving on from the situation that you found yourself in. And I get a feeling that this has got something to do with that as well, that you suddenly have this kind of realization that you don't need to stay in this energy of feeling defeated and kind of blocked as well. It's kind of blocking yourself in some ways as well, kind of holding back on something. That this is kind of giving you the impetus, shall we say, interesting word, to kind of move forward with something, a new idea, something that's going to get you out of this feeling. In a way, it's kind of feeling sorry for yourself as well, for feeling like that this shouldn't have happened the way it happened, and you can kind of get yourself stuck in that energy. What else is coming through with this? Yeah, I just get this feeling of kind of that things weren't fair. You felt that things were very one-sided, out of balance. But this is changing. That is changing. It is changing. This is what this is saying. This is changing. And also what this is saying as well is that it's time to move, end that cycle and move into something new. And again, one of the reasons I'm saying that is because the Wheel of Fortune has come out, even though it has come out reversed, and it is the energy that is kind of bridging all these cards here. Just put them all together for you so you can have a quick look at what they're all kind of trying to say. I get the feeling that this is kind of also saying, because the Wheel of Fortune when it's upright, it's kind of saying that things move in the right time. When we let them, things move in the right time. That there's a bigger story behind everything that maybe we ourselves aren't aware of. Bigger reasons. And this literally, this Wheel of Fortune literally represents, it's like the clockwork cogs down here, that everything turns and all the planets kind of line up or do what they do in the right time, and that's how we kind of respond to them or are affected by them. But because this is reversed, I get the feeling that there was a kind of sense, if you like, with this king here as well, kind of sense that if you did what you did, or what, yeah, if you reacted or responded emotionally the way you have, then it was almost like you were kind of setting the wheels in motion, but not in a productive way for you. So I think it's also saying that you have to let things take their course. You have to let things take their time, and you have to realize that at the very center of this card here, this sun here, this is you. This is you. You are at the very center, as are we all, of our own universes. And how we respond to situations is how we end up, because this is what kind of justice is about, in the sense of our actions create our future. So our past becomes our present, which becomes our future. So they're all now moments. Every now moment is creating our next now moment. So it's kind of saying, become aware that you have more control or more say in a situation than you might have realised. Maybe that's to do with the recognition, and also kind of you realising that you might have misplayed your hand somehow as well. But allow things to unfold in the right time, particularly as the two major cards that you have up here are very powerful cards. The Sun card and the World card, the ending of the cycle. It is like closing out something, but it might be, you might feel as well that the way that it's closing out, because of the reversed Wheel of Fortune, you may feel that it isn't how you would have liked the story to end. But we don't necessarily always see the bigger picture. We just see it from our kind of smaller vantage point down here. And kind of this character here wearing the red also kind of relates to the root chakra, a kind of physical world, which is where we view everything from, whereas this energy here is seeing things from a higher vantage point. So it's saying kind of try to see things from a bigger vantage point. Try and see a bigger picture rather than just kind of seeing the smaller